you believe in fate, Neo?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And here we go.
In his groundbreaking book, Blink, author Malcolm Gladwell talks about priming, which is when subtle triggers in our environment influence our behavior, and often without us even being aware that this is occurring. So that would be an example of being primed, subtle things in our environment that cause us to become different. Now, a perfect example of the power of external coming at us priming comes from Spain. In Spain, authorities decided to conduct a little experiment. They decided to try playing classical music on the subway in order to try to reduce crime. Now, that was the only thing they changed, but the results were startling. Just by playing classical music, not making any other changes, vandalism and littering drastically decreased. Now, a second example of external priming was the graduate school or graduate student experiment that was done in the East at Penn State and some other universities. And they did some double-blind studies of 20 grad students at a time going in thinking that they were taking a simple test. What they weren't aware of was that the test began the moment they got off the bus. And there were hidden cameras that measured the pace and the rate of those grad student, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds students' pace of walking as they went in to take the test. The test was 20 words, and they were to write a sentence about the meaning of each one of those words and use that word in a sentence. And then the test was to measure the rate and the pace of the walking from that test lab back to the bus. So they were testing the rate of pace going into the test and the rate of pace coming out of the test. What the student didn't know is that every single word of the 20 words they were to make a sentence out of, which they did, were all subtly cued to old age. Write a sentence about retirement. Write a sentence about a walker. Write a sentence about hip replacement. Write a sentence about Florida, living in Florida. Write a sentence about, and every one of those was subtly, or maybe not so subtly, but hard to notice, a cue to old age. And what they noticed was that the rate and pace of walk on the way into that test was drastically quicker, faster, snappier than the rate and pace coming out, when they had subtly been cued to not only writing about old age, but it incorporated into their energy in the rate and pace with which they walked. Now, this goes to show you how subtle changes in your observable environment can affect your behavior without you even realizing it.
I'll sweeten it for you. You pick the player, and she'll guess the number.
What?
Please do not. Please. Please.
Okay. I got one.
Do you want me to write it down?
Nah, I trust you.
Then it's her turn. Just do it. Pick.
give you one chance to back down, okay? No hard feelings.
Pick.
I guess number... Wait.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul of faith.
Number 55.
I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Me damn sure.
Wait, that is unbelievable! How did you do that? Oh, we have got to go to Vegas right now. I have a jet. Oh, that was incredible. Did you see what she just did? And you.
We're good, Coach.
How did you know who he was gonna pick?
We told him to. We've been telling him all day.
From the moment he left his hotel room, we've been priming him, programming his subconscious. He's been seeing the number 55 all day long. On the elevator, in the lobby, even the stick pin on the doormat. Not only that, we loaded his route from the hotel to the stadium. He looks out the window, primers are everywhere. Now he doesn't see it, but he does. There's no getting around it. He even sees Farhad.
That is genius.
Yeah, and it's not only what he sees, it's what he hears. The Mandarin word for 5 is woo. There are 124 woo-woos in sympathy for the devil. Now, he's not registering it, but it's all there. So when he picks up those binoculars, looks out on the field, sees a familiar face with the number 55 on his jersey, some little voice in the back of his mind says, that's it. And he thinks it's intuition, and he picks.
Do you want me to write it down?